Setup is fire. VTV Studios, you know what time it is. This is exactly where we shoot every Beyond the Views podcast vlog. Shout out to Roberto, my homeboy. Boop, boop, boop. You know what time it is. This is your boy CITO, Beyond the Views podcast, #1 podcast in the world. You know that. Episode 34 with the homie right here. Callmegulliver. Boy, what's good, man? I am fucking excited to have you on the show. Now, before we get started, I want to ask you a quick question.
Yes.
Top 5 artists, dead or alive?
Top 5 artists that are alive.
I know that Eminem would probably be there and Kendrick Lamar, because when I heard your music, I had a little feel of Kendrick Lamar and Eminem. You tell me if I'm wrong.
I'm gonna put Lupe Fiasco in there.
Lupe Fiasco, yes! Fuck, I forgot about Lupe Fiasco.
I'm gonna put Andre 3000.
Andre 3000, yes! Yes!
Eminem.
Eminem, yes, yes.
Eminem. Gotta have Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar, yeah. That's fire. Fuck, I forgot about those two.
And I gotta put The Weeknd there.
The Weeknd. The melodies.
The melodies.
Yeah.
I think it just broke a whole other wave of music.
Yes.
You know, I would put Drake on a close 6 for that same reason of just opening a whole door.
Wait, is this the side? Yeah, yeah. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Drizzy. Yeah, man.
Like, they really done a lot for us.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Next thing up. Loyalty or respect? What are you picking?
I think they're 1 and 1 with each other.
Trick question. I got you there, but you're right. That's the right answer.
Because if you don't respect me, you're not gonna have loyalty for me. Vice versa, right?
Absolutely. You got me there. You got me there. Let's go.
Let myself sink in as I rock to the moon. Somewhere I can be high, away from the gloom, away from the loneliness, making use of my gloom. I lost all my superpowers the day I...
Episode 34. We back. CITO. Callmegulliver. You know what time it is. Listen, man. Real name Gerson.
Yes.
All right. Now, what I want to say about this artist sitting right here on the right side of me. First, it took me forever to get him on the show. Okay, because he's busy creating music, making his albums, making his EP. And 2021, the boy went ham. And I know about what you did in 2021. You went crazy. And he's smiling because I know exactly what he did. Artist, producer, songwriter, raised in Toronto with Guatemalan background with a style of music, blending with hip hop, Latin, pop, while giving you a reflection of many beautiful cultures and a joyful journey through his music. And I love that and I respect that, man. Once again, thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate you, homie. Appreciate you so much. Listen, man, I want to start off by saying November 13, 2018, you dropped Free.
Yes.
Take me back, or set me free with our love, there's no release. I see you in every single dream, take me back or set me free, writing this at 3 a.m. and I can't go to sleep. I can see the ghosts of us, these walls hold memories. You've been out my mind like...
Now, before we get into the first drop on your Spotify, give us how you started with music. Is this something that you were born with, something that you slowly transitioned in to enjoy, to love? But you know, listening to your music, the passion and how serious you take your art and craft, man, I'm blown away, man. So talk to me a little bit about your upcoming and stuff.
I'll say it really started, you know, back when I was super young. Parents had me, you know, super involved in like church in the background, playing drums, piano, stuff like that. They put a lot into, like, you know, I remember them working overtime to get me to go to the Conservatory of Music. So I learned piano there. Yeah. And then at the time when I was young, they kind of pushed me so hard into it that it kind of repelled me for a few years.
Gotcha.
A few years go by and I realized, you know, I'm writing a lot. Not even just for any reason. High school's going by, I'm writing. Books are starting to get full. Right. I used to have a rock band, Mike, back when we were in high school. And we would just do freestyles all over, bring the homies over, recording these freestyles. This big, hefty computer. Gang. Right? So from there, just a passion started coming from, you know, I grew up in Brampton. Yeah. So a lot of different cultures there. A lot of people love hip hop, but they also bring a different culture with them, right? You have a lot of different roots, a lot of different music. So I got to experience a lot. And then as I moved from there towards Richmond Hill, I started realizing, you know, I like making music. I started making demos, started putting things out. I've gone under a lot of different monikers over the years, right? I started off with a group called Gerson and Tristan when I was younger.
Dope.
And we played a hell of a lot of shows.
Right.
And that kind of brought me to take school, to learn a little bit about the craft, a little bit about the business, because this is a business at the end of the day.
Huge.
And I went to Seneca for it. It's pretty much a year course that dives into the law about it, dives into the business, a little bit of the production, grant writing, which was a big part of me getting this album finished and done. And from there, I started to manage artists.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I started to manage artists. That was kind of like my way to learn the industry, kind of get a feel of what you need to get done. I felt like at the time I wasn't the most marketable artist, being younger, still trying to figure out my sound. Yeah. But a lot of the people I came up with in my program were very talented. So there's this one very, very talented R&B singer, Natasha Fisher.
Yes.
A year went by after school and I said, you know what? Neither of us are necessarily fulfilling our potential.
Absolutely.
Let's do a collaboration.
Right.
I'll take care more of the business stuff. You focus more on the craft.
Right.
So I started managing artists from her to another artist called August Brody as well.
August Brody?
Yeah. So
I'm aware of August Brody.
So combined, I had a hell of a ride with both of them, managing them. I learned a lot.
Right.
And then from there, I started to take
everything on your hands.
Everything on my hands, and started to be like, you know what? Let me see how I am as an artist myself. Because I've been making demos all these years.
Wow.
All these years, managing, doing all these things. I've just been working.
Okay.
Compiling music.
Right. That's amazing. You said, writing this at 3 a.m. and I can't go to sleep. I can see the ghost of us. Now, this song dropped November 13, 2018. It's called Free. Now it's over 100K streams, which is incredible.
Yeah.
The moment that you dropped this song, did you know that it was going to get this reaction?
I remember sitting in the car with a homie maybe about a year before the song dropped, because for me I tend to have songs for years before they actually come out.
I know.
And
I'll tell you why in a second.
I remember playing it for him and just telling him, I think this is going to do really well. I just have a feeling. It was like a summer day in August.
Right.
We had just recorded it and I said, I have a feeling this is going to do well. I put a lot into it.
Yeah.
And it did. But a lot of it went into the marketing. I have to say that. Like it wasn't I have to give credit to I ran ads for a whole year straight on that song.
Wow.
Right? Like that was almost like my experimental, let me try this, let me try that.
Yeah.
But it did pay off.
Right.
It did pay off because it got in front of a lot of new faces, a lot of people, and I want to say that definitely is there was a turning point for the song.
Absolutely, and it's really important the fact that you said that you went to school to learn a little bit of the behind the scenes of music, because it's not about creating a song and putting it out, but marketing. You got to put a lot of money into this. Last that I heard, Cardi B spent $120,000 before Kodak Black, I think it's called Bodak Black, popped off. And a lot of artists seem like they can do it without that, but you got to put money where your mouth is, man.
It's true.
So
it's true.
I salute you with that, because a lot of times a lot of us wouldn't spend a fucking dollar on any marketing.
Yeah.
That just, to me, that just feels like, gosh, I don't know if you really believe in yourself 100% just yet, and that's fine. But just keep in mind, you got to spend money in order to get your sound out there. When I bumped into you, by the way, it was Behind the Music. You had episodes Behind the Music. You started it October 1st, 2020, your first episode. And you did small segments on giving us an insight on when you drop a song, what to expect, what motivated you to, make this song and what have you. And that, to me, I was like, yo, I like this. And I like what he's saying. And I like how you're bringing us in your world. Yeah. From there, I became a follower. And then I dove into your music and I was like, yo, the boy can rap. That's pretty fucking dope. So, congrats. You never think that those little episodes that you do every day, what are you at right now, 30-something episodes?
I want to say almost 20.
Almost 20? Shit, I thought you were a lot more, but okay. How has that been going? What's your feedback on your Behind the Music?
I think a lot of people do, like you said, they appreciate the diving into it. I mainly made it for that same reason, for when people stumble upon me down the road, for them to have something for them to come up on. I know a lot of, and this is not knocking people, but a lot of people like to keep it 1, 2, 3 pictures.
Of course.
But I feel like if I've taken all these years and spent all this time to create and all these memories, I want people to show up on my page and have a history to go through. There's like 300 pictures now, so I'm like, you can dive into what I've done, the whole story, who I've worked with. I want you to see the whole picture for what it is. Right?
Absolutely. Based on Spotify though, May 26, 2020, 2 years later after Free, Frozen in Time was released.
Yes.
I thought we'd make it, I saw the line, but we fell short of an epic ride. Fell off the horse that we can't deny. What we had is in the past now. What we have is in the glass now, but can you
lyrically inclined. I'm gonna repeat that. Lyrically inclined. Go listen to Frozen in Time.
Always be mine. I wish that we could be frozen.
It felt like you brought me back old school. Like you went in deep. Like no bullshit.
Yeah.
So why did you wait 2 years from Free? Or maybe you must have dropped on SoundCloud or other platforms that I don't know about, but from Spotify, how come 2 years?
I think first of all, I was really pushing Free.
Okay.
And I was also caught up managing artists. That took the bulk of my time, like a lot, because you know when you're managing, they have to be your first priority. Like I told them, I'm gonna sign up to like be the face of your brand with you, to push you, go forward. So a lot of the time and effort and resources were really spent there.
Gotcha.
And in the time, I was also trying to find the right follow-up. So I had Frozen in Time, and I remember we made it like back in 2018. And it was the day after the Grammys. I remember Beck won a Grammy, and everyone was like, you know, who the hell is Beck? And it was this whole thing. But I was listening to his music on the way back, a couple of lyrics, and then we went to the studio, and the producer came up with Frozen in Time. But I think it was just sometimes I need songs to simmer.
Yeah,
if I like it 2 years later, I know it's not a song that's just to feed what's going on around me and the trends.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be able to, like, someone will come up on that song 4 or 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And it'll still be refreshing to them.
I know, I can tell. It's gonna stay lit. My head's in clouds too much. I cannot get down to touch realities, not enough. You spit about a lot of like real life situations, you feeling a certain way, freedom, your latest record, we'll get there soon. You know, do you implement a lot of your life scenarios and situations to your music? Is that what you tend to do?
I think a lot of it comes honestly just from the fact that like a lot of these things are just real situations that I've just brought like from my life. This is how I cope. Like music's literally how I cope.
Right.
So there's not much, as much as Callmegulliver, I would still say is a character compared to who Gerson is, right? Because they're not the same. But as much as it's a character, a lot of it is pulled directly from me. So that, in addition to shout out to all the people who are ever in the sessions with me.
Shout out to y'all.
Because for example, like someone like Patrick Catry, he is someone who sits in the studio and he'll pull the emotions out of you, right?
Yeah.
So in that song, for example, I asked him, come to the studio, I need you to make sure my verses are where they need to be emotionally.
Wow.
And so they hit the spot. He also produced the song.
Wow.
So
fire beat, bro. Shout out to you. Jeez.
So I'd say it just comes from the reality that like I'll be sitting there and I'll just rethink everything that it was about.
Yeah.
And I feel like it translates.
I can feel it, and I know you can too. Let's go!
This sounds like rebirth, it sounds like metamorphosis. Can't see through the fog, but I'm certain of what road this is. Passion and pain got me pushing through the rain. Sacrifices that I've made just to keep playing this game. My stock is going up, I'm building leverage. Please don't.
When is your favorite time of day or week to create music?
I honestly want to say the middle of the day.
Interesting. They say that.
Please don't put no ice in my horchata beverage. Aston Martin dreams, Jaguars for the team, Super Mario 64.
Creativity flows at nighttime more than any time during the day. And you say afternoon. That's fucking interesting, man.
Because funny enough, a lot of artists I find are night owls. They are up at night. All the artists I manage were up at night, sleeping during the day. But because I always had to take care of the business stuff, I've always been used to waking up 5 a.m., 4 a.m., work my side job, then get to the music stuff for the rest of the day. And, you know, I'll sleep at regular hours. Right?
Which is good, man. Which is good.
So I find that, you know, if I'm waking up at 5, by the time noon hits, that's like when I'm like...
You're ready to pump out music,
Exactly. That's, you know, by 2 o'clock it's sweating beats or something. Something's happening.
100%.
Some tightly roll green, but not too tight though. Gotta let the leaf breathe. You should do the same. Find God, find tranquility.
Guys, Beyond the Views podcast, episode 34. Call me Gulliver, your boy CITO. You know what time it is. VTV studio. Shout out to Roberto. You know what time it is. Come peep it.
This all came together like immaculate conception. This app got me dropping bars. Where's the reception? Welcome to the ride of your life. This the inception. Many here are masked with deception.
February 2nd, 2021. Featuring Victoria Gouveia.
Yes.
Okay? Soulful chorus. I'm gonna start off there. It's a very soulful chorus. This song is called In My Head. It's a fucking beautiful record. You know, we took a hit and never bounced quite back. I lost a part of myself. I never look out for help, even when I'm in verge on the collapse.
We took a hit and never bounced quite back.
Were you going through something at this time? Or what, man?
At the exact time, no.
Okay.
But that was the first single of my upcoming EP. And that EP is essentially, I would say, exploring probably the biggest breakup I had in my life.
Got you.
So
okay.
that, it's essentially like 8 letters that were never sent. So In My Head would have been the first letter that I would have probably sent to this person if I ever got to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? So this EP explores that. It explores the seven stages of grief after you lose someone, right? And sometimes I put it as it's about a relationship, but for some people it could be about something else.
Absolutely.
Because loss could take many forms.
Right.
But I would say, yeah, that song definitely highlighted the start of something very dark that came from a breakup that the EP explores.
And this is the reason why I said 2021 in the beginning of the episode was a big year for you. You went back to back to back, dropped an LP. I know all about it. And the LP started off with a freestyle using a Mario sample.
Yep.
What? Yo, did you hear that shit? I'm gonna tell you again. I'm gonna say it again. The boy used a Mario sample on the first record of his LP in 2021.
Up, down, jump, let's go in to the island when sunshine touch our skin, fight the boss and win. Rescue the princess at level 10, take some mushroom and fire flowers, put the coins in the bag, then we make a shower in the...
Did you ever ghostwrite for any artist in the city?
No.
I don't know, man. No. You're smiling underneath that frame, man. I don't believe that, but I'm gonna keep that on lock. I'm gonna talk to you after, man. I'm sure you have. Who would you love to collaborate with? Any artist in Toronto that you haven't already?
Definitely. There's a lot of artists. And this city has a ridiculous amount of art. It's like insane how many talented artists there are. So like for me, it's like, there's so many, but definitely there's an R&B singer by the name of Joya.
Joya?
I think she makes incredible music.
Shout out to Joya.
Shout out to Joya. Benita as well.
Benita?
Incredible music.
Shout out to Benita.
I'd say that's like my top 2 at
Amazing,
the moment.
amazing. And shout out to all the artists in Toronto.
Shout out to all the artists.
Keep doing what you do, man. But tell us a little bit about Victoria and how you guys got together with this record. How did you guys meet, and how did the chemistry come together?
I don't think we had met in person before the actual record happened. And funny enough, Natasha, the artist that I managed, she went to a music video shoot for Victoria.
Okay.
And from there, I just kind of came across her music.
Yeah.
And from the second I heard it, I was like, my goodness, like, you know,
wow.
The writing, the pen game is crazy, the vocals are, you know, insane. So the first artist I want to collaborate with was Victoria Gouveia. And I had the song and I had the hook, and something just said, ask her. Send her the song, ask her, and it happened. She showed up to the studio, and I didn't hear the verse before she showed up to the studio.
Wow.
I had full faith though. Like I was just almost like waiting for like a treat.
Yeah.
And when she started, my jaw dropped. Like everyone in the studio was just like,
yeah, man. Yo, fire. Victoria, shout out to you. May 11th, 2021, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You just said right now that you have 2 split personalities, and this is the personality of you being in fucking La La Land. And let me tell you why. It's easy to get caught up in all the glitz and glamour, but on the same coin, there's a world of inspiration.
Once upon a time in Hollywood, I got high. Landed in the hills, Mount Olympus that high. 5 million price tag, mansion that's high. Bugatti in the garage, the Impala's outside.
You know, what was your mood? Like, what was your sense of mood? I feel like you're on your like, I really do this, and I'm gonna just do what I want to do.
But I got high. Landed in the hills, Mount Olympus that high. 5 million price tag, imagine that's high. Bugatti in the garage, Ferrari's outside.
You know, I've always been a lover of West Coast hip hop, West Coast music. I love LA. I have, you know, a love affair with that city, I would say, between Toronto and there.
Yeah.
And the last time I went there in 2018, I, by some means, ended up at a party and then ended up at this giant mansion out in the hills. And for me, it was like, that adventure was, it was almost like I was documenting that adventure. I walked into the house, they had the Aston Martin in the garage, the Impala, McLaren. You know, this was like an $8-9 million house. You had the whole city in the background. You know, you're super high. So this whole night for me was this whole experience, right? That my artist had brought to me. I was under the impression I was going to a studio session, ended up at a party, and you know, kind of just went with it. But that inspired this whole song, because at night you're enjoying everything in it, but in the morning you also realize this is not it. This is not all there is.
Yes.
It is it in a sense.
Yes.
But it can't become everything.
Yes. Where do you see yourself moving to another country, another city to promote yourself as an artist? Is there anywhere on the top of your head that you would move to?
The first city I would move to in a heartbeat, and I do think I have in the cards to go there for some time, is Montreal.
Montreal. Wow.
Montreal has a vibrant and thriving music scene.
Yes.
It is a much more collaborative city, I find. It's a lot easier to collaborate with artists. I love this city, but sometimes it's difficult collaborating.
It is.
It doesn't always happen.
No.
For whatever reason.
No.
But I've made some connections there that I feel like if I go there, I'll be able to pump out the next step. And you know, really, I already have the EP finished after this EP. And I have like 3 instrumental albums done. You're working, and I can tell you're working. Immaculate Conception, Flight School, album. You went from Venting, June 15th, the one with the voicemail, October, Driving Through the Moonlight, October, Wait a Minute, December. What made you feel like, you know, 2021 was gonna be the year that you're just gonna like flood with music? I had compiled so much music, it can't just sit in a hard drive. It needs to come out. Yeah. So I just started putting back to back, eh? Compiling EPs and just that's amazing. One after another. That's amazing. That's amazing. What do you want your listeners to take away from your music? Callmegulliver. Like, what is something that you want them to take away, man? For the ones that haven't heard you before, that are gonna hear you, you know, what is something that you want them to take away? That it's okay to feel things. Yes. That's, I'd say, the point in all of it, right? That sometimes you need to feel things, and you need, you know, they're not necessarily going to be pleasant things, right? Yes. A lot of my music is not necessarily music you have to be in a certain mood or mind state or vibe to want to dive in, right? Just to take away that, you know, music is something to listen into different vibes and frequencies, and mine is something to maybe listen to when you're processing something, when you want to heal, when you want to get through something necessarily. Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. The feeling of seeing love like this, you know, written in an article. Shout out to Cloud News. How was that feeling though? How was that feeling of seeing your song on an article, man? I like it. Yeah. I like it. It's obviously rewarding to me, because you put so much work in and you want to see it recognized at least somewhere. Yeah. And now that the music I recognize is starting to take better quality and better form, and my production is getting stronger. I'm working with the strongest engineers that I want to work with. Right. And I feel like things are coming together. So now I'm like, all right, I'm glad to see that it's paying off. Yeah, yeah. But it also makes me want more. Of course, of course. Well, congrats, man, congrats. That's a huge accomplishment. Now we're gonna get to the finale. Callmegulliver in the building. Your boy CITO, episode 34. You know what time it is. Beyond the Views podcast, #1 podcast in the world. You know that. March 18th, last week, 2022, 12 a.m. in Limbo, featuring Lucho de Ceras. Yes. I'm telling you right now, I started to listen to it, I started bumping to it, and then the Spanish kicked in, and I was like,
Who is that? Who wrote those lyrics? Was this a sample? What the fuck was going through your mind, bro?
I love it.
Everywhere I'm going, I'm listening to this song, man. So, Roberto, you gotta listen to this song.
The beat I made in a batch of beats that was like venting, that. It was like back in 2018. And it was probably in some of the more darker times in my life. I was out in Montreal, actually. And it was -40. Just a rough time. But what I was doing to get through the time was making beats. I was like, you know what can I do? Make more beats, get better. And this was one of those beats that, you know, I wouldn't say every beat I make is fire, obviously.
They're all fire to me,
but this one came out and I was like, I love this beat and I love that there was Latin influence to it. Over the years, I was writing to the verses, but I always wanted to challenge myself to show that I can write in Spanish, right? Because it is my first language, right? So
yeah,
I needed to show that it can be done. And I also wanted to just pay some homage to, originally I was looking for an artist from Guatemala. Couldn't find an artist specifically, but Lucho, he's from Panama, and he dabbles between here in Panama. And I remember I had sent him, I wrote the lyrics in Spanish, I sent him the demo. I originally was planning to sing on it if I couldn't find anybody.
Yeah.
And a couple months later, he was like, let's do it. I would love to. And I looked into it, and he has like quite a history of releasing music, quite a fan base. And I've noticed that with the release, because there is some support from his end that's just kind of like a byfactor of his fan base. But yeah, the song came together just over the years, different rough pockets of me capturing different moments, and it all came together.
Fire.
Thank you.
Fire.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put the song, I'm gonna put the link, I'm gonna put the, even the cover art is fire.
And shout out to Malik Cox for that.
Yeah.
We've made 17 cover arts together. He's made every single one for me. So there's a connection that works in collaboration when you work with someone so often.
Absolutely.
And I think he just captured that in that cover art.
Listen, man, congratulations to you. Congratulations to anyone and everyone that has worked with you. You're doing great. It's just a matter of time. Bro, I'm gonna go back in my whip right now and I'm gonna blast this song, because once that Spanish vibe kicks in, I feel like dancing. I just feel some good vibes, man. So listen, I just want to say thank you so much for bringing us through your journey, for bringing us behind the music, literally behind your music, behind your songs, how you create your music. And you know, we went through your catalog. I know there's a lot more to go through, but that will be for part 2.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be really excited because I will be shooting a vlog with the homeboy here, Callmegulliver. Stay tuned for that. Do you want to give any shout outs to anybody right now?
Shout out to everybody who's involved. There's too many names to name, but thank you to everyone. Obviously, I couldn't have done it alone. Shout out to you for having me here.
Let's go, my God. You know what time it is. We excited. Do you have a question for me at all? I only allow one question for one guest. That's all.
All right.
You can take your time. We edited this. Ya tú sabes, papá. It's fucking light, bro. It's pissing me the fuck off. I don't know, man. It's pissing me off. I just bought it. If you don't have one, it's cool.
What podcast inspired you to get into podcasts? Was there a podcast that made you say, I love podcasts? Because I love what you do. I love what you've been doing it, and you know, you obviously have a drive and a passion. You can see evident.
Yeah,
so I would love to know the root, the seed of where your love for podcasting came from.
106 in Park and The Breakfast Club.
There you go.
Top 2.
Gotta love it.
From that, I've always wanted to be on the show, and I felt that I will create a platform to create my own show that will one day lead me to get on that show.
There you go.
Episode 35. Episode 35.
We said it here.
We said it here. You know what time it is. If you don't got one, I don't know what TV you watching. I don't know what channel you watching. You probably didn't even know. You probably ain't watching the latest shows out right now. Stop fucking playing with me, man. Stop playing with me, man. Let's go.
Buenísimo.